Hey, how's it going today? So what I want to share with you is not so much about YouTube ads or any particular type of platform, but more about what happens post-click. I just had a consulting call with someone, and they're learning YouTube ads. They're transitioning over from Facebook, and they're really working hard on getting their own systems and processes in check, which is very important so that we have a good handle on how we're going to attack a new ad network. How many pieces of creative are we going to do? How are we going to set up our campaigns? All that stuff. But at the end of the day, what it really comes down to when we're optimizing stuff, no matter how we have our campaigns set up, no matter what audiences we're targeting or whatever, the core things we're always measuring are like, how does our ad perform to the audience that we're targeting? And by that, we're measuring, click-through rate, what type of click-through rate do we get? And then what happens after the click on the landing page? Those are the two things we're always trying to get. The audience is simply a tool that we leverage to put our ad in front of to ideally get a higher click-through rate, which in turn then converts better. There's all these other things we could look at and say like, well, maybe a certain audience gets a really high click-through rate, but then they don't finish what we want them to do on the landing page. Very possible, but let's leave that out of this discussion for the time being, because what I want to talk about is split testing, and I'm going to show you just an example. We use Thrive Themes, no affiliate link for that or anything like that, but it's the plugin's called Thrive Architect and Thrive Optimize we use. I think it's a couple $100 a quarter is the tool. You can check it out at thrivethemes.com. There's other reasonably prestigious marketers that use this tool as well. But I really like over here on this screen, you can see this is a basic split test we're doing of a super clean page versus a busier page. Now, I'm not going to share these particular landers. I know I share a lot of stuff, but just for purpose of who we're running this campaign for, I'm going to keep that private. But I'm going to show you a little bit here on how we would diagnose what we're going to do and the things that I generally suggest people split test. Now, this particular split test, what we're doing is something that I think a lot of marketers overlook. The standard lander we often see is something that has, very high, lots of trust. I can show you one actually. This isn't the one I'm leveraging right now, but I'll show you an example one right here. This might be an example landing page we might run. Now, this is pretty low key actually. We've got our logos here. We've got some brands that they're selling that helps kind of create some trust. And then we've got to, see if your home qualifies for a new furnace for as low as this in our quiz, right? So this is an ad that's running right off of a YouTube ad. Now, when we look at this isn't so bad, but a lot of people get really heavy with text below the fold. Maybe we get our Trustpilot rating or things like this, lots of testimonials. I'm not saying that doesn't help, but if we're experiencing low conversion, the question has to be asked, is it helping? And the only way to find out if it is to take it away and see what happens, which is exactly what we've done in this test right here. We've got a clean page, which is just our logo and quiz, versus a page that has a whole bunch of other stuff on it. You can see the page that has a whole bunch of other stuff on it is converting at 11.38% versus the other page is converting at 13.62. May not seem like a huge bump to any of you, but if we do some simple math here, where if you're selling leads or even if you're getting leads for your client, what did I do there? Sorry. Then you can see another 2 leads per, I like to do this math. So let's say that out of 100, let's say a click's costing us $3, right? So that means it's going to cost us $300 to get 100 clicks. So if we're converting at 11.38, let's keep it simple. Let's say we get 11 leads. So our lead cost is $27, right? That same 300 divided by 13, $23. So we just basically save $4 per lead, right? Now, if you're selling those leads, which in this case we often are, that means that for every $100, we just made an extra $400, which is substantial. Every 1,000 leads, $4,000, right? Now, the key is this is when we start playing this game of split testing things, we start to make small micro improvements. We usually don't go from like a 4% conversion rate to a 12% conversion rate, although that sometimes happens. It's usually from 4 to 5, 5 to 5.6, 5.6 to 6.9, 6.9 to 8, and slowly we're scaling up our conversion rate to improve. Now, how do we do that? So I'm not going to walk through the exact process of how you would do that on your landing page. What I do want to do is quickly just talk to you about what I would consider doing. So first thing I would do is my headline. By all means, split test your headline. Think about what you're saying. Try a long headline, try a short headline, try calling out geospecificity, for people in. There's ways to get dynamic with this. You can get a Google script that can actually grab the IP location of the state, province, or wherever someone is in, and then you can kind of dynamically replace that on your page, which can work really well. That's the first thing we'll test. Step 2 is we'll test what we're asking people to do and the way we're asking them to do it. So if it's a quiz, we might change the first question. We used to ask gender, for instance, are you a man or a woman on some of our life insurance quizzes. And then we started changing. We just made this change about a month ago, and we said, were you born before 1969? Because in this particular campaign, we're running something that's for a little more older skewed demographic. Yes or no, that's it. And we actually bumped our conversion rate or our start rate on our quiz. In an auto funnel we used to ask, like, what type of car are you looking for? Are you looking for a car, a truck, a van, or an SUV? Now we ask, are you looking for new or used, right? That actually doubled our quiz start rate, asking that. If you aren't testing these things, then you don't know, right? And this comes back to other stuff I talk about on the channel, whereby if we want to be really good at what we do, we can't charge a real little amount. Like we can't do a really great job charging someone $300 or $400 or $500 a month, because we don't have the time to give this one account to do all this testing, because we got to manage 8 to 10 or maybe even more accounts to hit our income goal. So if we're running at $500, which is why I'm such a proponent of dealing with higher value clients, which make more money off the marketing we do, so we can charge them more money. So this next thing is the second thing to split test is asking what we want, right? So that could be like the headline of the form, right? It could be, if it's not the headline of the form, it could be the first question of the quiz, right? It could be, what else? It could be maybe going from a multi-field form to a step-by-step form, right? And what I mean by that is first, what's your first name? Next. What's your last name? Next. What's your email? Next. So not showing all the fields at once. Split test that stuff. Third thing to split test would be, if you don't have trust factors, then try trust factors. If you do, try taking them away, right? Fourth thing is bullets. If you haven't tried bullets, try that. Think of the top 3 benefits, not features, but benefits that your thing offers that you're marketing, right? So, like in life insurance, we're protecting it. People say, well, you're protecting your families. Okay, you are, but what are you doing even more? Well, you're actually save your loved ones as much as $10,000 for the cost of your final expenses. Ensure they can continue to pay the cost of your mortgage or rent each month after you're gone, or keep up, ensure that the kids have savings set aside for schooling and things like that after, when they get older. Don't think about protect your family. Expand it to very specific bullets so that they can relate to that. They may not zero in on all of them, but if you can pick one of them, then you're going to go a longer way. So bullets is the next thing. Clean versus busy is another one that we often test, and clean means I'm just trying to think of an example. Clean page. Our auto page is pretty darn clean when I look at it now, right? So something like this. This is our auto quiz now that we're driving. This is the control. There's nothing else here, right? I call that a clean page. Quiz, logo. We tested it without the logo. With the logo worked better. This is the exact example, new or used, right? This used to be our first question. What type of vehicle are you thinking about? Now when we switched to new or used, we actually went from we were having a hard time getting people to start this quiz. We were in the low teens, 12, 13%. Now we're at about 25 to 28% switching to that, right? That makes a big difference. Now, you need to have a tool that you're able to split test this with. If you're using a landing page tool, be it Unbounce, Instapage, Thrive, Architect, even ClickFunnels, you can do these tests. If you're testing a quiz or something like this, if you really want to get nitty gritty, you're going to need to create 2 versions of your quiz and put them on different pages, right? But it's extremely important to spend time doing this stuff, because it can take what appears to be a losing campaign and make it a winner without having to chase down dozens of new pieces of creative, right? Especially if you're experiencing that your campaigns seem to be going strong, but they're falling off. The videos seem to be responding well, but they're falling off. Now, a couple things you can do to make this a little bit better, or to get a little more nitty gritty on your campaigns. And I've talked about this before in another video with my left to right course that I've got on tracking. I show you how to set up these micro conversions. So there's a link to that in the description. If you don't have that yet, you can go sign up for that. It's a free course over on Thinkific. You can sign up to check that out. So what we've got here is a few different events that fire on our auto funnel. Did they start the quiz? Did they see the form, which is where they start to enter their name, their name, their email? And did they become a lead? So what you can see here, I'll go to one that's a little more populated. The quiz loaded for 21 people, right? 16 of them started the quiz. 4 of them saw the form, which means only 25% made it through. And of the ones that started the form, 50% of them converted. They became a lead. With this type of data, what we're able to see is, okay, there's a big fall off. We're losing 75% of the people from the time they start to they see the name. Now, that's something we're working on right now. We're actively split testing this quiz a couple different ways and looking at the analytics inside the quiz tool we use called LeadsHook, so that we're able to see what questions could we change? Could we take a question out? Could we change the way we ask it so it seems like it's more beneficial to the prospect to actually give us the answer? And that can make a big impact on how you ask things. It's not just like, what's your name, or what's your email, what's your phone number? Rather than saying, what's your phone number, saying, can you enter your best mobile number so that we can text you a verification after you're done, right? Now we've got a reason for why they would give us their phone number, right? Being that phone number is probably the most valuable piece of data we want. Name is a little bit easier. Who are we talking to? Who are we going to give your quote to? Who are we sending your risk-free savings estimate to? Who is it? Who are we talking to for this particular piece of information? And then email. Email is becoming less and less important, in all honesty, for most offline businesses to acquire. They want to get them on the phone anyways, but usually we'll use something along the lines of, please enter your best email below, so if we have questions about your application, or so that we can save your savings estimate, or so that we can send you a risk-free analysis of your home report, whatever it might be. We come up with different reasons for email. But overall, that's what I wanted to get across here. You want to look at how can we make these micro gains to go from 13 to 11%. Now this funnel's working well. This has been running for over 2 years, this funnel that we're working with in different iterations. So we're going to have a lot of knowledge on how it converts at this. It's it doesn't start this way. And something to realize is that you're probably going to fail when you first try it. It's probably not going to come out of the gate a winner. It takes stamina and aggressive patience to stick with this stuff to create a winner. And if you can stick with it, then the rewards can be great. If you fall off quickly because your first thing didn't work, well then, unfortunately, you just end up disappointed, right? But hopefully this was useful to you today. Get out there and split test. Grab my free tracking course below, left to right. No cost to that. And hit the subscription bell below here so that you get notification of all my new videos when I throw it out. And we'll see you on the next video on the channel. Bye for now.